Hello, welcome to the Oileánach Knits podcast. My name is Heather. I am the maker and designer behind Oileánach Knits, and I'm coming to you from St. John's, Newfoundland, which is an island way out in the North Atlantic, and is traditionally Ktaqmkuk, the Mi'kmaq people and the Beothic people before that. Yeah, it's been a while. I feel like that's how I open every podcast now, is to say how long it's been. Yeah, I've been wanting to get back to podcasting for a little while, but things have been kind of hectic and it just doesn't feel right. But here we are today. I just got back from a artist residency in Port Union at Union House Arts, and it was life-changing in so many ways. It's such a beautiful place out there, and the kind of connected community ethos of the place is really beautiful. And my sister was really instrumental in building that place, and so it's been really gorgeous to watch it grow over the last couple of years, and then to be able to participate as an artist was really special, and the place was so special. And I have so much news, but I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to share just yet until I get things like really confirmed. But yeah, I can tell you that my residency was in natural dyeing and design, and so I dyed so much wool and did so much like really fun experimenting with dyes and like what's possible, and I did my first ever workshop, which was really fun. We had 8 participants, and we went for a hike around the area and identified dye plants, and then came back and had a dye day, and it was really lovely. It was so cold and rainy the entire time I was there. There was a fog bank like just off the coast, and like we were right, Union House Arts is right on the harbor, and so it's also a peninsula, the Bonavista Peninsula, if you don't know it, in Newfoundland, that just kind of juts straight north into the Labrador Current, and it was wild. It was like 5 degrees, raining and foggy the entire time I was there, and the dye, like I was in the outdoor studio, so it was intense, and I did like all my dyes were foraged. It was wild, and then I came back to St. John's, and it was like immediately just like 30 degrees and humidity. So that was a bit of a shock to the system, but I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I met so many interesting people, and I just feel so rejuvenated, and I came up with a lot of designs and so many ideas, and some big changes are coming, but I'll share more on that later. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to show you some of what I've been up to lately, because I really haven't done much sharing lately. I really kind of got put off of social media for a long time. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it to begin with, or not just. I love connection, and I love the knitting community that we have online, but I just get so bogged down with it sometimes, and I really just resent sometimes that I have to kind of keep putting things out there. But yeah, it was nice to have a break and nice to I mean, I was pretty active when I was on my residency, but I just wanted to take a break from doing it because I felt like I had to, you know? Anyway, let's show. I might start with some of my dyes since we're chatting about the workshop right now. I didn't really come away with a ton of like vibrant, exciting colors because I wasn't really going for the tried and true. I was mostly experimenting. So let me see here, get myself organized. So, okay, I've got my seaweeds here, so I'll start with those. I got curious about trying out some seaweeds, and there's, you know, it's a coastline, so there was lots of opportunity to gather. And one thing I really loved about it is that it really gave me a better idea of like the edible foraging that I could be doing. So everything, I don't know if that's a blanket statement, but everything I've got right here was edible seaweeds. And I didn't eat any of it because I was, you know, focused on my dyeing, but it's you know, it's good to know. So I started out with red dulse, which is dulse is that, you know, superfood, whatever, that people go on about all the time, and our beaches are covered in it. So I started with that, and by itself, it's not really showing up here, but it's got a bit of a peachy color. So we got that, and then I added, oh, okay, sorry. Got myself for a minute there. These were two separate times when I tried the red dulse. So the top one, that is not really showing much color, that is, I tried the mason jar method dyeing. And then the one on bottom was from a full vat of it. So I actually did try a fair bit of mason jar dyeing, and I found that I didn't get as much color out. So there will be some other examples of that, but this bottom here is the nice peachy color I was talking about. Not really showing up that well. I'll try to insert some pictures maybe. Yes, then I did it over a gray, and it didn't give much color, but it tinted it into a really nice warm gray, which I love. It's really hard to show this on my laptop camera, but alas. And then this is the red dulse with iron. Again, not really showing much, but if I show you all of these in tandem, you can kind of see some of the differences. No, still can't really on this camera. I'm gonna have to just like film some footage and show you after. And then I tried sugar kelp, which was not as bright of a color. And those were my seaweeds. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to show you all of these because it's not really showing up. Maybe I'll just tell you about some of the more exciting ones. So there's a place out there called the Newfoundland Salt Company, and they make sea salt, and it's really lovely, and I've gone out with them before and taken photos of their gathering process, which is super interesting. So they had some ground alder catkins. Oh my gosh, this is still spilling. They had some ground alder catkins that they weren't going to be using, that they dried out to flavor their salt, but they dried it out too much, so they had a batch that they didn't have anything to do with, so they dropped it off for me to try. And I got all kinds of colors out of it. So this is from the alder catkins. And the colors aren't really showing up, but we've got everything from like an olive green to a mustard yellow to more of a forest green going on here. So I did a lot of experimenting with things like shifting the pH and adding different color shifters like iron and copper and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I had a ton of fun with that stuff. And then I also went out and gathered alder catkins, and they were just pollinating, so they were like giving off this electric green dust. And I got another more of an earthy green from that one. That one's wet, so it's downstairs. And I got this whole, oh no, actually I have that right here. Got the rest of the skein right here. So that's this earthier green as opposed to the more yellow greens that are down there. Can't really see it. What do you do? I also got this whole range of mini skeins here. You might be able to tell they're mostly pretty pale because I did a lot of weird experiments. For example, I dyed a lot of mosses, so just for fun, not really a big color, but yeah, I got a couple of different kinds of mosses. I tried shaggy moss, American tree moss, can't remember the rest of their names right now, but I got a bunch of different mosses on the go just to try. Nothing too wild coming out of any of those though. I did also do some experiments with lichens, which was really fun, and I couldn't find any ammonia on the peninsula. There were mostly like small hardware stores and nobody was carrying pure ammonia, so I could have peed on it, but I wasn't in the mood. Yeah, so I tried just kind of soaking them in water for a while before I did any dyeing. And one of the most fun combos I got was from yellow lichen. So it's a yellow foliose lichen that grows on rocks here. I will try to insert a picture. And if this will show up, I got such a cool range of colors just from the one batch of it. So it's not really showing up, but this one here is like a salmon pink. This one is like a orangey pink. And this one is, it's like a brown. And that's all from the same jar of lichens. So we had some really heavy rain and I could just kind of pick up bits of the lichen that had like fallen off the rocks in the rain. And so this one I just soaked it and gave it a go, and then, that's this one. So the orangey yellow, which is the color you'd expect to get from a bright yellow lichen. And then I took that dye bath and put all the lichen back into it after and soaked it for another week and then tried again, and I got the pink, which is super weird and I love that. And then added a little iron and got this brown. So that was a really fun one. I also tried a couple other kinds of lichen, but nothing too interesting. But the biggest, most exciting thing that happened the whole time, I got blue. I got this, it's showing up. That's great. It's a natural blue. So with dyeing, my biggest goal is to find colors locally that are, naturally growing here. So I'm not interested in indigo or, cochineal isn't even, they live on cactuses, I believe. We definitely don't have cactuses here. So I'm only interested in the plants that are already thriving in Newfoundland and I can forage them. And so blue is the hardest natural color to find. And I got it. It was a total surprise. I was not expecting this. And it wasn't even anything crazy. This is yarrow leaves. Just the leaves of the yarrow with iron. And it made blue. And so I went to town, if you can see back here, and just made a whole range of blues out of it. And I'm very thrilled with myself. So that's a quick look at some of the dyeing that I did out there. We'll try to insert some pictures or footage or something so that you can see them a little better. But yeah, it was a beautiful time. I'm not going to show you any of the, I also, made a lot of designs and did a lot of swatching and stuff like that. I'm not going to show that just yet. But one of the other crazy exciting things that happened out there while I was having a meeting about something really exciting, the beautiful, wonderful, amazing Morgan Parnham gave me a fleece. And it's stunning. So I've been working on, I washed it all while I was out there, and okay, hang on. I have to tell you more about this particular sheep. So it's a lovely lock right now. As you can see, it's got the lovely crimp and a little curl up at the top. These are combed already-ish, so you can't quite see it, but so my partner was visiting for the weekend, and we went to this beautiful, wonderful place called the Bonavista Vista Social Club for lunch, and they have a deck out front that faces out over the ocean, and everything they do is very handcrafted. They have like a beautiful space out there with a wood-fired pizza oven, and they have their own honey that they make, and they have their own pickles and things like that, and they only ever have a few menu items at a time, but everything is like beautifully done. And so while we're having lunch, we're looking out over the meadow below, and 3 of the most beautiful sheep I've ever seen wander into the meadow. And Jordy points them out, and I scream. And like watch them for a while, and then I went inside to like ask them about the sheep and see if someone could point me in the direction where I might buy their fleeces. And so it turns out it was the family who own the restaurant, and so she called her dad, who came in, and we chatted for a bit, and so they only got the 3 sheep, and so they don't sell their fleeces, they use them themselves. So all was well, and I just stared at them for a while, and then fast forward to like a week later, and I am given one of the fleeces. So they're a black sheep. They don't know what the breed is, but based on my research, these are already carded, so it's not really helpful to see, I guess. I have some locks somewhere, but a lot of things got kind of misplaced in my packing. You can kind of see a bit better on this guy. So yeah, they're black sheep, and they've got beautiful crimp and little blonde tips, and based on the little bit of research I've done, we have a lot of cheviot here in Newfoundland, and we don't have a lot of like purebred, so it is very likely not a purebred sheep. We've got a lot of cheviot here, and cheviot kind of crosses, and I'm thinking maybe black Welsh Mountain mixed in with cheviot, maybe? Hard to say. The staple length isn't super long, so we're looking at, what's that, 3 inches? And yeah, so I just kind of, I washed it while I was out there and started doing, like, I don't have carders or anything like that, and I didn't really have the opportunity to try anything out there like that, so I just started kind of finger carding it into position, and honestly that's been working fine. And I carved my own Jalagan spindles. They don't work. They're like way too light. They just don't spin, and they're like, I don't think I did that good of a job. I'm not a woodworker, but it was fun. But a friend of mine out there lent me a drop spindle, so I've just been spinning it up. It's you know, it's about as consistent as you could expect from finger carding, maybe, but I don't know. I'm just really enjoying the process, and I've got so much of it. I've got a garbage bag over there full, plus 2 baskets here, and I'm having the time of my actual life. I've wanted to buy a local fleece. I would have bought any fleece, but like I really have been wanting to buy a local fleece for ages, but like didn't really feel like I could afford it right now, and I'm just so grateful for this beautiful gift. And I'm spinning a fleece of a sheep that I was admiring in a field while eating lunch 2 weeks ago. Like, that feels so special to me. I haven't been working on it since I got home, just because it suddenly got so hot that my hands are sweaty, and that doesn't feel good for spinning. But it's been one of the joys of my life. I did up this little sample. Oh my god, it's gonna be impossible to see. I did up this little 4-ply sample, and I think it looks stunning. Even though, you know, I'm not a very good spinner or anything, but it's just the joy of the process. Oh. I wish you could see how beautiful it is, how shiny and like springy. Oh, it's so nice. So yeah, that was some of the highlight reel of that place, and I met such wonderful people, and I just can't wait to go back, because I'm definitely going back, but I'll tell you more later. Whew. Okay, so on a related note, maybe, I've been working on some new samples of some of my designs. So when I got back, I cast on a new Uist sweater, and I just love this color combo. It feels really exciting right now. So I've got the yoke done, which is like pretty surprisingly fast for me. I think I've just been so excited to work on it. Oh, I love this color. So I've got it done in the rust. It's in Lopi, obviously. So I've got it in the rust colorway with the white, but then I've got the straw as the, kind of hard to see in this light, but I've got straw as the contrast color, and I really love that together. It's a bit more like subtle, which I think is nice, since like the rust is such a pop color. So that's been working up real lovely, and I've been enjoying that. Yeah. Well, I guess this part doesn't have to be a secret. I'm gonna be selling some of my knitwear next year, as like finished products. So I haven't really done this before, especially with sweaters, which is the big thing. I just want everyone to have the capacity to wear a stunning woolly sweater. And so yeah, I'm going to be selling some of my sweaters and my original designs. knit with stunning wools. So that's going to be coming up at some point. The timeline is still looking a little up in the air. I also, while I was away, I was selling some of my, I was making hand-dyed hats to sell. So here is a few of those. And yeah, I sold out at least once while I was out there, which was really lovely. And I'm gonna keep making these because I think that's a really fun thing. So these are like my hand-dyed wools and just little beanies. Yeah, it was a fun thing to be able to do with them, with the wool, because like a lot of times I'm just kind of experimenting to see what colors I can make, and I'm only really making one skein of each. So it's really exciting to see like something I can make as a finished product with that. And I've been making, I might keep this one for myself because I really like the color. But here's the one I was last working on. It's in this lovely alder catkin color. God, it's so hard to get colors to show up on here. It's really nice, like sagey green, which I love. Yeah, so that's something I was working on while I was away. Sold a fair few of them. See some hand-dyed hats bopping around, which was really nice. And I've also been putting a lot of work into the Uist collaboration. So if you've been around for a while, I've been working on this sweater for like a year and a half or more, possibly 2 years. That's absurd. But it took me a while to get it right, and I really wanted to get it right because this wool is everything. It's so beautiful, and I really loved the collaboration that I'm doing with them, and so I really wanted to get it right. So here is, gosh, this was one of my earlier attempts, and I'm currently like ripping it back for the wool. But yeah, so it's got this pattern on the body and on the sleeves, but I wasn't sure about the construction, and so I've really got it now. It's happening. So I've redone it as a raglan, and I really like how it's fitting, and so I've just made it onto the color work, starting that now, and this is a much better fit. I don't know what I was thinking when I started this. Look how wide that is. That's like, that fits around me 1.5 times. But anyway, no biggie, because it's coming along really nicely now, and I can't wait for it. Ooh, sorry. Someone just almost crashed in front of my house. Yeah, so I really can't wait to get this going. Yeah, so I think this is the sweater design that's my priority right now. So that, I hope, should be back together soon. Sorry, some drama playing out down there right now. Yes. And then the newest, no, I'm sorry, speaking is hard, it's getting really hot up here. The thing that will be out next is what I'm saying. So I've been working on this sock pattern for most of the winter, which seems like a long time to work on a basic sock pattern, but I just really wanted to get it perfect, and I wanted to try out a couple different techniques and stuff, and I've knit like 10 of these socks now, just wanted to keep going until I got it right, kind of thing. yeah, so the pattern will be called Happy Trails, because that's my favorite thing to wish people. And I knit them, design them as hiking socks. So I noticed that a lot of people, hang on, well, I'm just really passionate about natural socks and natural sock yarns and not using nylon or superwash. I think you will know this by now. So I wanted to design a sock that could live up to, or not live up to, but like that would give natural sock yarns the best chance at durability. So I've worked on a few different kinds of reinforcement to put into these socks, so that your natural socks will cut it, because we gotta stop using nylon. We just gotta, like, come on. There are so many great natural sock yarns out there that are doing a great job, but it's also in the pattern. So reinforced socks plus natural sock yarn equals whoever needs nylon again. So it's something I'm passionate about, and so I've been working on building a sturdy sock, basically. And I have finished the prototyping, still, finishing bits and bobs, but I've also only knit one sock in each color, so now I need to finish at least one pair so I can take photos. But yeah, I just need to write the pattern now. I've got all the information. I just need to put it into a pattern and call for the testers. So I think that'll be happening next week. It's Friday now, June 30th, so first week of July. This will be happening. And I currently call for test knitters on my Instagram. So that's where you will find that. I always put up the call for test knitters and leave it up for 24 hours before I look at applications, so you should have time once you see it. And yeah, so get some good socks in ya. I'm also going to do, once I get around to it, I'm going to do an ankle length version as well, but that will be in the pattern. That will be available for you to do if you would rather. And yes, I'm really excited about these actually. I haven't really worn them yet because I wanted to save them for photos and stuff, which I haven't gotten around to yet. I've got a lot going on right now. So yes, I am very excited for these, and I will be very excited to see how people work with them. So that is the end of my show and tell for today. I'm doing so much work behind the scenes right now, and I'm so excited to share more of my news with you, but not just yet. Not till things are official. But hopefully that will be very soon. But with that said, I should get back to work on those things. I got lots coming. Sorry, I feel like I'm just being so vague and mysterious, but I'm just really excited about all the things that are coming. I'm gonna make some big dreams come true, and I can't wait, and I can't wait to tell you about it. But yeah, for now I'm glad that you joined me here, and I hope that you're having a nice time. I know most of you have been in summer for quite a bit longer than I have, but I hope you're having a nice summer, and I hope that you're just having a really nice time, and I hope that you get some crafting time. I hope you get some nature time. The leaves have just come out on the trees here. It's really thrilling. I recognize that most people are like several months ahead of me here, but it just makes it all the more thrilling. Okay, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.